I wish he were watching the wedding, looking at Barnaby like, "Sup, man?
Why?
You know I hit it, right?" Like,
Eskimo bros.
yeah, your robe comfortable as hell.
Brunch.
Hit it, boys. In the song Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, what does the line "mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop" mean?
That's a line?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Rockin' around Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Bing, bing.
Oh, where they try to stop underneath the mistletoe.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. It could mean one of two things. One is they see the mistletoe and they're like, "Oh, honey, let's stop for a second. Love you, babe."
I assume that's what it means.
So that's not what I had assumed. So the second option, I just always assumed it meant like the couples can't help, but they can't stop themselves because of the mistletoe. And then I heard the song again, and I've thought that forever.
What, that they just like have sex under the mistletoe?
Like the couples are trying. It's like, oh, the mistletoe, it's so contagious, it's crazy. But I thought about it, and like, if that's actually happening, that's a fucking ridiculous party.
Whoa, guys, cut it out.
Because like those makeouts exist where you're like, oh fuck, we're in public. Like, holy smokes. But it's not just that one couple would be doing that.
It's all the couples.
Every couple.
It's a real swingers party.
That's what so I was thinking about that, and I was like, I thought that it was the second one. I thought that I was stretching by guessing that it was that they stopped under to kiss. But if that's the first thing that you think of,
I
maybe
think
that's the
what
first
it
thing
is.
that normal people
Yeah.
think of.
Yeah.
I thought it was like they can't get their fucking hands off each other, and people are just fucking ferociously making out at this 1958 Christmas party.
Have you ever had the problem of being like a PDA person? Where you've gotten like complaints about it?
I generally complain to myself about it before I've gotten a complaint. But I've had the thing of like, people are fucking looking at us or something.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever. I'm pretty good about that, I think. Unless it's like a bar situation.
That's the thing. It's only happened at a bar where it's been
all the rules are out the window
Yeah.
at a bar, I think.
One time, I unfortunately had that situation present itself at a bar where it was like, holy smokes, this needs to stop. We are making a fucking scene. And then like 2 days later, I went to like a party for somebody, and it was at that same bar. And I was like, because I had planned out, I was like, well, I'm never going back to that fucking bar again, or especially not while all these same people work there. And I was there like 2 days later in front of the same employees.
Did you do
Quite
the same
embarrassing.
thing?
No, it was with a different crowd and everything, and I felt like such a fucking like freak. I wanted to get out there.
Speaking of freak and freak shows, we watched Babes In Toyland this week.
Yes. Do you want to get right to that?
Before we get to that, let's do some housekeeping.
Yeah.
One of our listeners, we got a special request this episode. One of our listeners is turning 21 today on Friday. Happy birthday, Maria.
Happy birthday, Maria. Go live it up. 21st birthday.
Go to a bar and be gross and just make out with dudes until they feel bad about themselves and never get to go back to that bar again.
Yeah, no. I was going to say, like, go do, like, a big, drunk, public makeout, or I feel like that's problematic to go to tell people to go out and just start kissing.
For its 21st birthday, they can do whatever they want. What'd you do on your 21st birthday? I know what I did. I bet you can't guess it.
You got blackout.
No.
What?
I didn't drink at all on my 21st birthday.
Really? Why?
I played tennis.
Why? Tennis is awesome.
Tennis is great.
Tennis is
a
terrific.
very underrated recreational
I'm never willing
sport.
to get to, like, put in the work to get good at it, but I love to play
Oh,
it.
I suck at it, but it's so much fun to play with friends. Because I turned 21 on, like, a Monday or something, and none of my friends wanted to go out.
Oh, you're saying, like, when, like, the
like
second you turned 21.
Right, like the day, like, I wanted to go just get a legal drink.
Oh, I did that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
And when I went to do it, the guy, it was at PJ Ryan in Somerville, the bouncer was like, hey, this license expired.
Oh, what a dick move.
And I was like, and he was like, I'm kidding, man. Happy 21st.
Okay. I know that there are people that have actually gotten turned away from a bar because they're like, oh, this is expired.
It's a hilarious move to be, but to do that as a joke.
Yeah, that's a great move.
It was
for a
like,
joke.
you know,
because what are you going to do?
We razz each other in 21 world, man.
Yeah, right. This is your first bar experience or first legal bar experience. What are you going to tell the bouncer? That he's wrong?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be familiar with that world.
Yeah, but I don't know. Young people are really fucking uppity when it comes to. I feel like
because young people fucking suck.
Yeah, they're more confrontational with that sort of thing. Like at no point has anyone been like, this ID doesn't work, or like, I don't think this ID is real, any shit like that. And if it ever happened, I'd just be like, all right, fucking whatever, I'll go someplace else. But I know a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people I know be like, motherfucker, I'll kill you. And it goes from 1 to 1,000 really fucking quickly. So do that on your 21st birthday.
Yeah, Maria, just go pick a fight with a bouncer.
Go there, go to the door. And if they're like, could I see an ID? Be like, I'm 21. And if they're like, right, well, here at bars we do IDs. Be like, what, you don't believe me? And then you fucking yell something really loudly, say to a woman as part of a thing. Just be like, oh, really? You're not going to let a woman come in? And just trust me. That's what we do when we're 21.
It's basically like, bars are like prison rules. You have to walk in and find the biggest person in the bar and immediately fight them to establish yourself as a 21-year-old.
I like the idea of giving someone who potentially has never been to a bar tips or a little glimpse of what a bar is like because they don't fucking know. Right. So we can fucking tell them whatever. Watch out for the fire. You're going to see a lot of fire in bars.
At 12:30, a half an hour before closing time, they just light the bar on fire and force everybody out.
And you have to run out. Unless you know how to displace. If you have seen that awesome movie. That's not a funny joke to make because every time I see the fucking things in California that's going on, I'm like,
big fire.
Oh my fucking God, I hope that nobody's displacing.
Yes.
Yeah, because that shot of the highway is fucking wild. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is, I like somebody edited that video and then changed the highway sign to entering 2018.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, those fires are fucking terrifying. So happy birthday, Maria. We also have reviews.
Yeah.
We got a couple of reviews.
I
think they're pretty good.
I'll be the judge of that.
But we did probably not as good as the ones that we had last week with you just reading the lyrics to Thunder. Because that was great and well received on the video that we made.
Well, Thunder, it was. It got a bunch of retweets pretty quickly. I was like people were fucking waiting for that shit.
Yeah. Okay. The Real Bad Boys of Podcasting by Thunder Era. Mm-hmm. This is really so
the Thunder thing continues.
Hey guys, especially Hank. Wait, JK. DJ and Pete are the real bad boys of podcasting. Ooh, that's some shade at Pardon My Take. The real bad boys of podcasting, and that's why Santa put them on the naughty list. Ooh. Trick or treat, gang. Hit it, boys.
Nice. Doink the doink. Gender up. GKG says Sarah Mac. That's how that was spelled. Favorite episode of the podcast this season? Gay Graves. The Italian accent impression really just reeled me in. P.S. Pick me for that T-Tough bobblehead boy. Twitter at Sarah Mac. What was the Italian impression? Who did it? Was it me or you?
I think, remember, because the Gay Graves was in Italy?
Right, yeah, I remember that, but I don't recall
I think you did the Italian impression. And
generally
then I followed.
I'm generally the accent guy around here.
You jump headfirst into impressions whenever you get the chance.
Whether or not I know if I can do that.
Right, if it's appropriate or not. And usually it just comes around to you doing Ray Romano.
Yeah. Pretty good thing we have going.
So if you want to leave us a review, I think we'll do the Tyler Toffoli bobblehead giveaway for like another week.
Yeah.
And give people some more chances to get some funny reviews in. So if you leave a funny review, you can win a LA Kings Tyler Toffoli Christmas bobblehead. It's very
a pretty
nice.
Cool thing. It's a pretty neat ass fucking thing.
We're also on Patreon if you want to pledge to the podcast and help support us and help give us money to give to our guy Ryan.
Yeah.
That's patreon.com/listentobrunch.
The people who have done it so far have been very, very nice, very considerate. Thank you very much. Again, it's not going to us yet. We'll see. If we play our cards right. So, yeah, we wanted to talk about a Christmas movie for this episode, and I insisted it be
really
Babes
did.
in Toyland.
No idea what I was getting into.
I had not seen it in forever. I saw it when I was a kid, and I remembered I was like, what the fuck? And I also remember later in life being like, oh, Drew Barrymore. That's that chick from Babes in Toyland.
Really?
And, Keanu Reeves. I saw that guy once in Babes in Toyland. My initial
really glad.
exposure to those two were Babes in Toyland.
Jesus Christ. I'm really glad that I did not see this. So this was the first time that I saw this movie. I'm really, really glad that I did not see it before the majority of these actors work. Because, like, watching John Wick, knowing that that's the guy from Babes in Toyland, would fucking ruin that shit for me.
Bootleg-ass Aladdin running around there.
I really did think to myself, I was like, he's dressed like Aladdin in this movie.
There's a lot of bootleg people in this. Barnaby is played by bootleg Rodney Dangerfield.
I was going to say he's bootleg Josh Gad. Like, if they made that movie, he would absolutely be played by Josh Gad.
No, that's Georgie Porgy.
Georgie Porgy.
Yeah.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Barnaby.
Oh, Barnaby? He's not Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, I'm sorry. Barney is Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
so this movie has roughly 4 actors, and they all play a couple people, except for Lisa, who is always Lisa. She's played by Drew Barrymore. It is a 1986 made-for-TV movie, and it is about a girl who... they're driving in a snowstorm.
Should we do like an official synopsis here?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Are we doing a brunch review?
No.
Okay.
I would say no because
it's old.
Because right. And I feel that this is kind of a different thing. So, real quick, there's a blizzard going on. Early on in the movie, Lisa is played by Drew Barrymore. She's sitting home by herself, very responsible. She's a responsible kid. They do a lot of stuff to establish very responsible kid. Watching TV, watching the news, and the news anchor says, the big story in Cincinnati is blah, blah. And you're like, it's kind of weird they would set this movie in Cincinnati, but whatever. It's not going to be like a movie about Cincinnati. And boy, are you wrong. Because within 11 minutes, they have broken into song and are singing all about Cincinnati.
The first movie in history that has a sing-along about Cincinnati. 2
sing-alongs about Cincinnati.
Well, yes.
They, like, the movie is tied together by a song about Cincinnati.
It disguises itself as a Christmas movie, but really it's a movie about Pete Rose that happens around Christmas.
Right, they talk about Pete Rose in this
more than
movie.
anything.
Yeah.
Which is...
1986, you got to remember. I don't think that Bart Giamatti, had stepped in yet.
But it's like... That goes to show how shitty Cincinnati is. They only have one thing that's worth talking about, so they just hammer it over and over and over again throughout the entire movie.
And
they never say what's good about Cincinnati.
And the song is the best. It's like they spell out Cincinnati a lot, and they're like the best city in Ohio, USA. And you're like, I don't even know if that's true, and I don't even know that much about Ohio.
I don't know. Like I barely know anything about Ohio, but if I had to guess, I would assume that Cleveland and Akron.
Oh, Akron's supposed to be pretty... I don't know. Akron had LeBron.
Right.
Cleveland is known as like a shitty city. Cleveland is known for sucking.
Isn't Cincinnati too?
It's got to be, right? But like I don't...
But the fact that Cleveland is like the staple of Ohio...
Yeah. That's what I think. I think of that before I think of Cincinnati.
Right. Columbus, maybe?
Ooh,
Columbus is probably the top.
Have you ever heard anybody say a bad word about Columbus?
I don't think so.
Because they're too busy saying great words about Columbus. Okay. People love Columbus because they say it's like it's like a big college town.
So let's do a quick power rankings of Cincinnati city or Ohio cities that we've never been to.
1, Columbus.
Gotta be Columbus.
Definitely Columbus. 2, I will give it to Cincinnati, but I think that you're being a little fucking... You know what you're doing? Full count. You're tossing the bat before I've called ball 4. By just assuming it's the better city than Cleveland. I think it's a lot closer than you think.
I'm going to say Cleveland because I think Cleveland is more of a flagship city of Ohio than Cincinnati is. And I feel like Cleveland probably has some hidden gems, whether it's like dive bars or strip clubs. I bet Cleveland's a good place to go to if you know the good spots.
Let's keep talking about Ohio cities. Cleveland also has the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's true.
So that's a big thing.
Drew Carey
show. I was actually thinking about one day, because if I could ever bring myself to get on a Spirit Airlines plane, I would
Don't do that.
I would just go to fucking the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and just fly to Cleveland and back for the day.
Why is it in Cleveland?
It costs like $11, I think. I don't know, because they got to have something.
Fair enough.
They had like the fucking Jake. That was it.
Is the NFL Hall of Fame in...
That's in Canton, Ohio. So you know what? Canton could be high on the list.
Nah, well, I mean, think about Springfield.
I was going to say Hall of Fame cities outside of Toronto aren't cool.
They don't make Cooperstown.
No, Cooperstown is a fucking... Have you ever been to Cooperstown?
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It is a fucking ghost town.
Yeah.
There is nothing going for it.
So Hall of Fame towns are more... They suggest that a town sucks more than it's great.
They suggest it's all they have. It's like having a professional Hall of Fame is like having a Six Flags. There's nothing else going on in that fucking town. And there's probably a lot of weird shit going on immediately outside of it.
This is a good discussion.
Again, Canada does it right. Canada's the only one that does it right. They're like, oh, we got the Hockey Hall of Fame. Boom, let's put it in a really cool American-type city. It's actually not an American-type city, because if it were an American-type city, then it wouldn't have Hall of Fame. Because Toronto's a good city.
True, yes.
Yeah. It would be in fucking like Kamloops or some shit like that. So...
Hey, don't disparage Kamloops. I heard that's a pretty nice place.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Western.
It's like a
Western
beautiful
Canada.
place.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense. British Columbia is
gorgeous.
Quite nice. You ever go to Vancouver? It's kind of nice. Recommend it.
Nice, man.
There's like the water. You can go for a run. There's all sorts of stuff you can do.
All right, so where do we want to start off
city
on this fucking movie? Because there is so much to talk about.
So let's start with the real life. So she gets a phone call from her mom while she's watching the news, and her sister has to go to work at a store, so she's by herself. Her mom says, hey, I got to get your fucking annoying brother, who is the dumbest fucking kid in the world. She's on the phone, and the kid's like, Mom, I'm hungry. Like, you're with your fucking mom, and everybody knows how this fucking works. She's taking a 30-second break to focus on this thing. She's at a payphone. You don't just fucking start talking to somebody while they're on the phone.
Yeah, when they're on the phone, which doesn't really make any sense, because here is little Lisa, who's basically an adult child who knows how to cook and like take care of herself on her own.
Gets upset when she's given a sled as a gift because because
it suggests that she's a child.
Yeah,
and her brother is probably like what, 3-4 years younger than her, not more than.
Oh right, yeah.
3 to 4 years younger than her, and literally cannot. He's probably not even potty trained.
One of my sisters is like a year and a half older than me, and she was a terrific student. It was just like, she was like a set it and forget it kid, just didn't do anything wrong. And then someone extremely close in age to her was all sorts of the opposite. So anything could fucking happen. Anyway, so she goes to see her sister at the store. And the boss at the store, she works with Keanu Reeves, and Keanu Reeves is hitting on her. This was actually a great move from the sister. The guy, Keanu Reeves says, do you want to go out for pizza after this? And she says, I don't know if I could eat 3 pizzas. And he says, who said anything about 3 pizzas? And she said, well, I have 2 other offers. That's just the kind of way I want to talk. I want to say shit like that.
It's a cocky little move, and it's because she's clearly into him, so she's just joshing with him, and he's receptive to it.
Yeah,
it's a nice little. I have options.
Right.
I don't need to go out with you, but I want to. So like when you say yes to that, it's like, hey, you're my number one. It's a good move.
Yeah, but you don't want to let them know that you're their number one.
Yeah, you do if you're a girl, because it ups the standards for the guy. Like,
That's
he
true.
knows that he has to put in the work because there's a lineup behind him.
Well,
there's a depth chart.
he knows that he needs to put in the work anyway, because she is so hot.
Smoking
She's
hot.
Crazy hot.
Should we check to see her age in this
I
movie?
did. I wrote, while I was taking notes watching the movie, I wrote, so here's a note that I wrote down, and this brings us to the next part about Barney, the owner of the store. We'll get to the age in a minute when I get there, but I'll say that while making a note, I wrote like, "Here's this blah 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 year old," and it was the correct age. So
How old?
23.
She was 23?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like I was watching that. I was like, that seems like a 23-year-old hot person.
She plays like what does she play in the movie?
I would guess 23.
Really?
I would guess like young, early 20s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes my interpretation of the movie.
She was playing like a young adult.
Then,
yeah.
Because the store owner Barney, fucking wicked creepy towards her.
So what I wrote, Mr. Barney runs the store, and he is jonesing for fuck with Mary. He conveys this by aggressively sexually harassing her. He is played by bootleg Rodney Dangerfield.
Like, she could, based off of like the first 10 minutes of the movie, she could hashtag Me Too.
Oh yeah, good God, yeah. So they get out of the store because everybody quits because they all suddenly realize, wait a second, this guy's an asshole. They all quit. It's Christmas Eve, by the way. And
do they quit or do they just say they're leaving?
They're leaving. Well, the way that George and Jack, that's Keanu Reeves is Jack, and George is played by bootleg Kyle Gass.
Discount Josh Gad.
No, way more Kyle Gass. You know who
Who's
Kyle
Kyle
Gass
Gass?
is? The other guy in Tenacious D?
No.
He's an elf. He plays, he's like always that exact role.
I would just like to point out that Georgie Porgy is what his name is in Toyland, and this dude's somehow his real name is even worse.
Oh yeah, what is it? It's like geese or something like that.
It is.
It's like goo, like the fucking guy from My Brother and Me.
His name is Googie Gress.
Googie Gress.
Googie Gress.
How could anyone forget good old Googie Gress?
This Googie Gress takes a role as Georgie Porgy and thinks to himself, "Thank God, I get to finally have a normal name."
Yeah. So they leave the store, and it's a real blizzard, and they're driving in Jack's Jeep, and they're doing a sing-along.
No. It's Jack says that he has a Jeep.
Yeah.
He drives a Suzuki.
Oh, it's a what's it called? It's a Geo Tracker.
It's a Suzuki. It says on the back of the car, Suzuki.
Really?
I picked that up immediately. He goes, "Hey, I'll drive you home in my Jeep. It has four-wheel drive." And then they cut to him getting in the car, and it is a Suzuki.
It's like
fucking liar.
It's like in Eastbound and Down when he gets a Denali, and he keeps catching himself referring to it as an Escalade.
Really?
Yeah. So they're driving in the Suzuki, and Lisa falls out of the car, hits her head.
As one does.
Right. Hits her head very hard on a tree, and wakes up in a place called Toyland. This is known among children also as dying and going to heaven.
Yeah. Well, I immediately thought, I was like, is she dead?
So, yeah.
That's got to be like a...
That's like a child's idea of heaven.
Right. It's just a bunch of toys. Yeah, it's just a bunch of toy. It's a toy town.
Yeah.
I want to point out the fact that Lisa finds out about a snowstorm while she's watching the news, runs to the store to alert everybody to a snowstorm, but they kind of glaze over the fact that it was already a fucking snowstorm that was powerful enough to knock out her cable and take down a telephone pole on her street.
Everybody that was there knew that there was a fucking storm.
But they acted like this was a big fucking development that came out of
nowhere. Well, you know that
nowhere.
they use it as an excuse to loot. I think she got on the fucking thing and she was really smiling. And she's like, "Guys, this is a fucking terrible snowstorm." Really fucking happy about it. And then everyone just fucking ran out with their toys.
I feel like Drew Barrymore, as a child actor, was just happy about everything, even though the situation should dictate that she should be in distress. She just says it all with a smile.
Being a child actor, everyone's always like, "Oh, you don't know they're thrust into blah blah at such a young age." Like, yeah, but they can do their job so fucking poorly and no one says anything.
Right.
Like, if that were a fucking adult, they'd be like, "Cut, why the fuck are you smiling when you're delivering bad news, you stupid fucking adult actor?" When it's a kid, they're like, they're stupid. They don't know how to work yet.
You didn't poop your pants.
Right,
we'll
yeah.
keep that take.
And and I was going to say they're getting money for it. Like, their parents are getting money for it.
Their parents are getting money and they're just going to blow it.
Pretty sweet deal. So she ends up in this place called Toyland. at no point asks, where the fuck am I?
I know!
How did I get here?
That was one of my notes. She doesn't ask any questions.
Immediately runs into Georgie Porgy, who is clearly that guy George she was just in the store with. And he says, I'm sorry, I'm Georgie Porgy. I work at the cookie factory. Takes off his hat and pulls a cookie out of his hat and gives it to her, and she eats it, no questions asked.
Just eats a hat cookie, and he has like gross hair.
Yes.
Gross curly hair.
This is a big movie for gross hair.
Yes.
They gave all the hot points to fucking Mary in this movie because Mary, her 23-year-old fine ass.
It's unbelievable that she asks 0 questions, just eats the cookie out of Georgie's hat. That was wild.
Georgie quickly fills her in on what the whole situation is in Toyland. The big news is that his buddy Jack is bummed out because the love of his life, Mary, who is Mary, that's also played by the fucking girl that's her sister, so just as hot. And
is her name Mary?
Yeah, it's Mary IRL, and then it's Mary quite contrary in.
So she doesn't even make the connection, like...
No, at no point is she like, I've seen you fuckers before.
Right. You are literally my sister with the exact same name.
She remembers the fucking Cincinnati song from real life, but she doesn't remember fucking people. She doesn't remember her loved ones. So, he's like, yeah, my buddy Jack's real bummed out because Mary's going to marry this old guy, Barnaby. And then he says, see the house on the hill? And he points, and he says, the bowling ball? That's Barnaby's house. And Drew Barrymore is like, oh, nothing. She's like, why are there fuckers living in fucking bowling balls here? And where are the rest of the houses?
And also, like, the most evil guy in Toyland lives in a bowling ball.
Yeah.
That's the most evil thing that they can think of, is a bowling ball.
I will say that for a bad guy, he's clearly a bad guy. For a bad guy, he's kind of a shitty bad guy.
Oh, he's a terrible
sucks
bad
at
guy.
being a bad guy.
He's like
he doesn't fucking like kill anybody or do anything.
He doesn't really do anything.
Just like throws people's food away.
He's not even menacing, really.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like, he smiles and does goofy shit.
Like he has like beer breath, and I imagine,
Yes.
but he's
also like filthy, filthy rich, and they keep hammering this home this point. But he lives in a fucking bowling ball full of weeds and gross shit.
Yeah.
And has the worst teeth in all of Toyland.
He has very bad teeth. Has good teeth. Mary. And he just lives in fucking filth. It's disgusting. But so he's marrying.
He also has a really gross one nail.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right. So he's marrying Mary. So you were probably asking, why would Mary, a 23-year-old piece of ass, marry Barnaby, a fucking 77-year-old creep monster with no fucking teeth, and he has a bird do all of his bidding, do of all of his
thumbnail
biddings.
longer than his wiener?
Yes, because in this make-believe place called Toyland, where it's just a bunch of toys walking around, Mary's mother needed help with her mortgage. Yes, that's right. In Toyland, mortgage exists.
Mortgage exists, and it's a mortgage for a shoe house.
This is
a shoe house that was passed down to her family, which makes 0 sense at all. Why would you have a mortgage if your house was passed down to you?
Right. By friends' rules, I know that if your grandmother fucking had the dope-ass place, you just get it.
Right, and she dies or has to move out and somewhere else.
Right.
You don't have to pay for that place.
Yes. This is a rated G movie that is made for people who are stupid enough to watch this movie. And I think that it's a stretch to assume people watching this movie know what mortgage means.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
like, what fucking kid is watching this like, oh, right, she's got to fucking fuck that guy to do it because of the mortgage. Yeah. Got to make sure the mortgage... You know how it is.
Yeah, I know the struggle, man. Mortgages suck.
We've all put up for mortgage before. Yeah, mortgage. So, when that's explained to Lisa, as usual, she's like, oh. Okay. So, they're doing the marriage. They're getting married, and Lisa steps in and breaks it up. And also during this wedding, they keep cutting to Jack. And Jack, again, is dressed like bootleg Aladdin, but he's still got great hair, and he's Keanu Reeves. And the whole time I'm watching the wedding, I'm like, Georgie Porgy called him his buddy. There's no way Jack would be friends with Georgie Porgy.
Georgie Porgy has 0 friends.
Right. Like Jack's got things going for him. like he's at least doing something with this Mary.
He's the most handsome person in Toyland because everybody else is a creepy bear.
Yeah, they're
or
like
a
stuffed
fucking
bear.
frog.
You know what they are? All those bears are those fucking creepy bears because they all have they're all clearly played by humans.
Yeah.
So they're teddy bears with human legs.
Yes, very true.
They're just fucking
everybody else
around.
in this place is a fucking creepy bear with long ass human legs, or like a frog with black hands.
Right.
You notice that one?
Yes.
That was very weird.
And then you got this fucking dime piece Jack. He's not gonna be fucking friends with Fatso McCookie Hat.
Right. There are two hot people in Toyland.
Yeah.
Shocker. They're fucking.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Well, I was thinking that if they've hooked up before, which I like to think they have.
Oh yeah.
They're consenting adults. Jack is watching the wedding, distraught. I wish he were watching the wedding, looking at Barnaby like, "Sup, man?
Why?
You know I hit it, right?" Like,
Eskimo bros.
yes. Your robe comfortable as hell. That'd be awesome. So anyway, there's a great mortgage crisis going on in Toyland.
Huge housing crisis.
And Barnaby's the only one who can solve it. I should say
This is the original Big Short.
yes, Mary's mom is a fucking psycho. She really wants this wedding to happen so Barnaby can take care of the mortgage.
She is
also,
obsessed with
she's
paying
in
off
love
her-
she's also in love with Barnaby.
Right, she's obsessed with paying off her mortgage, so much so that she has a list that is about 20 feet long. It's just one of those scrolls that unfurls and like rolls halfway down the street with ways that she can pay off her mortgage. About number 4 on the list is selling her children.
Why can't it just be continue to live in this fucking place where I haven't seen money? Why are people buying fucking?
The
I
only currency in this movie,
people.
No, cookies.
Oh, cookies are in hot. Man.
Cookies are a huge currency.
Which brings us to this: Barnaby is a terrorist. He goes into the cookie factory, blows a whistle, yells, "Cookie break!" And everyone's, instead of being like, "Who the fuck is this guy? This guy doesn't own this place." They just stop and they start eating cookies. Barnaby and his 2 friends, we'll get to them, go into the back, open up a little hatch into a big, big hole, and throw all the boxes of cookies into the hole. The issue is, when they throw the boxes of cookies into the hole, you can immediately hear them hitting the ground. The hole seemingly is not deep at all. They could recover the cookies probably pretty easily by just reaching into that hole and taking the cookies out.
I just realized if cookies are the currency for Toyland, that makes Georgie Porgy the bank.
Oh, that's true.
All the cookies are inside Georgie Porgy.
That's right. And even after all the cookies are stolen, they're like, "Oh, man, it's too bad. Oh, Georgie Porgy, you still got fucking cookies." He was like, "I found some at the scene of the crime." They're like, "There were no fucking cookies at the scene of the crime. That was the crime. The cookies were thrown away." I
will say the scene where they're throwing all the cookies into the hole was the point in the movie where I shifted from, holy fuck, what am I watching? Why am I watching it? To, holy fuck, this movie is so bad that it's actually great, and I'm very entertained. The scene of Barnaby's little henchman troll things playing baseball and smacking the cake / cookies into the hole is one of the funniest scenes that I've seen all year.
We could do stuff with that gif of
absolutely. I took a video on my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Like when you asked Deej and Pete to handle the music at the party, and
it's like an alley-oop.
Right, and then just like, like laughing, fucking playing Thunder the whole time.
It's like the one of the trolls has no control of his arms. He's just like, Those 2 troll guys have unbelievable physical comedy.
Right.
Their faces are amazing. They just like are all over the place, and the funniest part of the movie.
So this is all to frame Jack for doing something to the cookies. So and it works. They just call they call the cops, and they're
There's
like,
a real fucked up justice system in Toyland.
Cop, by the way, is the justice of the peace. He's the same guy that was running the wedding. If anything ever goes wrong, you call this guy, and he is 600 years old and could not handle himself at all. If there were, like, say, a shootout, he is maybe the worst cop ever.
He's got a good beard, though.
Yes.
He's got a beard that he can part in 2, which
and
is kinda
boy,
cool.
does he.
Yeah.
That's all he does, the whole movie. So when Jack is jailed for, quote, grand cookie larceny, Drew Barrymore distracts the justice of the peace by telling him about Cincinnati while
Pete
Georgie
Rose
steals the keys to Jack's cell. This plan completely works.
To perfection.
Just everything. The guy is taken with the idea of Cincinnati.
Execution A+. Immediately gets sucked into the Cincinnati hole.
So then they run to go see the Toy Master, who is Asian, is the only minority in the movie with the exception of Barnaby's two mentally challenged henchmen.
And the frog with black hands.
That's true, but is he just going in black hands?
Problematic?
Yes.
Maybe.
So he's either a minority or a fucking bad normal frog.
The worst part about that is that those black
normal
hands,
frog was to say that like frogs are supposed to be green, not that they're supposed to be white, obviously.
The worst part about that is that those black hands were so obviously fake that it could have been just a white person playing a frog, and for some reason they just decided to give him black hands.
Yes. So
that's problematic for sure.
So they go to the Toy Master and they tell him about all that's going on. And every time something happens with Barnaby, someone's always like, I knew he was a bad guy. And it's like, yeah,
shit.
he fucking like he dresses like Beetlejuice and lives in a fucking bowling ball, and he's 1,000 years older than everybody else here.
And he has a big black thumbnail that he uses to like stroke his chin and say evil shit.
Right, but like 10 times a week, people are like, I knew something was off about that guy. It's like we're living in a world of fucking stuffed animals, and they're not weird because of how weird this guy is.
Right.
But everyone thinks that they fucking...
He's wearing like a big fucking crow coat.
Right.
and they're like, yeah, he's fine.
So...
and he lives on like the edge of the forbidden forest.
Yes.
In a bowling ball.
As they're telling him about what's going on... I don't understand what they think that this guy can accomplish, by the way. I think they're just like, they just need to tell somebody. He's like, oh, I've got a jug of evil.
Oh,
and
the
they're
Toy
like,
Master?
Yeah. And they're like...
They don't ask any
Rad.
questions. They're not
Yeah.
like, why are you just keeping that jug of pure, unadulterated evil in your closet without a lock or anything either?
And it's like a pretty, what would you say? It's like a 20-ounce jug?
It's like a
It's like a
growler.
2-liter jug. Yeah,
like a
jug,
growler.
yeah. So he's got like a growler of evil, and he's like, I couldn't fit more. You can't bottle up all the world's evil because there isn't a bottle big enough. So I just use this one. It's like, you could have used a way fucking bigger one than that, though.
Right.
You could have gotten like 5 times the evil in there.
And also, like, if you have the evil and you know that you're in possession of it, why don't you just fucking dispose of it?
Right.
Rather than keeping it around. The guy's just asking for fucking bad news.
You know, but he keeps it in a cupboard that is not even close to locked, so it's okay. So Barnaby has a weird fucking bird guy that can just solve any problem for him.
It's a Cyclops bird.
Oh, right.
That he can look into its eye
and see anything he wants.
Yeah. And yet he's still caught off guard a bunch of times in the movie.
Yes. Well, again, it's probably the beer breath. He's probably pretty drunk the whole time.
Also, like, why doesn't he just, if he can watch anything that he wants, why doesn't he just watch fucking Jack and Mary have sex?
Right.
Jack is way hotter than him.
Yeah.
That's just like the hottest porn in Toyland.
Ooh, that's some hot stuff.
Yeah.
So it's obviously bad that he'd be spying on them, but
it's better than
it's like better than most of the things that he's doing.
Better than molesting the 23-year-old that doesn't want to be with him and is getting pimped out by her mom for a mortgage that probably doesn't exist.
Yeah, I just need a fucking sequel of this movie where just Jack and Mary are just fucking like taking trips and just living it up. God, what a couple!
I know.
They're honestly like Jim and Pam way before Jim and Pam.
Imagine if they casted Drew Barrymore in John Wick 3.
Ooh.
And it was like the Toyland sequel where
but you need to get Mary back because Mary's not played by Drew Barrymore.
True. Yes, that's true. So like you'd have to get Mary and she's trying to lead John Wick through Toyland and he's just killing everybody.
Ooh. Well, honestly, if Jack could kill people...
Not a single person dies in this movie, by the way.
No, it is so rated G, it is not even funny. Also, when they put the Cyclops bird, they trick the Cyclops bird into walking into... First, they paint his eye black.
No. First, the 3 of them, or the 4 of them, are tied up. Tied up to chairs, and the Cyclops bird just like walks around being a fucking doofus bird and not really attacking them.
Just cutting all their ropes.
Yeah, just cutting the ropes, letting them free, and then they paint his eye.
Yeah.
His one eye and then they say, "Hey, come here," and he can't see, and he follows their commands.
Yeah.
They just painted his eye.
and they're trying to get him to walk into a toy chest into a big chest that they're going to close shut. But when he's near the chest, they go, shove it, like push him in. She pushes him, and then he takes like 31 steps forward into the chest. He assisted that so much. It was just awful.
To be fair, he learned his evil ways from Barnaby,
right?
Who is the worst villain
ever.
Like
the stupidest guy in the world. So when Barnaby gets a hold of the terrifically protected jug of evil, he says that he's going to blow it in their faces, and they're going to inhale all of it, and then that's going to turn them evil. Because, as everyone knows, with this non-existent fucking thing that has never existed before, that's how it works. Just Barnaby has never heard of this fucking thing before, sees it, and then he's like, here's what I'll do. This works. And exactly everything will happen. So he blows the smoke or whatever, the fog, in their faces, and it's green, and they're like, fuck. It's working. Everything that Barnaby said was right.
But they're running around screaming, "Don't breathe it in."
Yes.
And meanwhile, using a lot of breath to say,
to scream,
don't breathe it in.
Lisa realizes that she's immune to it because she's not turning evil. So she realizes it must be because she's from Cincinnati. She begins singing the Cincinnati song to Jack, who, after a little bit of singing it like in like a problematic kind of Happy Death Day, what time are you going through the body voice, sings it, and then he's better. And they're like, we got to get Mary to do it. And they're like, Mary, C-I-N-C-I. And she's like, Cincinnati. And
first of all, and not to mention the fact that this is the first time that they're hearing of this song.
Right.
Never been sung to them
They
before.
shouldn't know what Cincinnati is.
Immediately picked it up.
Right. Because Georgie, when they met, didn't know what Cincinnati was.
Right.
Barnaby certainly didn't fucking know what Cincinnati is. And Barnaby, in real life, is Barney, a successful guy who makes his living in Cincinnati. That guy should know more about Cincinnati than any of these fuckers.
He doesn't even know how to say Cincinnati. He calls her Cincewatsky.
Yeah, he keeps saying Cincewatsky. And that always pisses me off when it's like the Belichick thing.
You
where
know, dude. It's like you've heard Snapchat. You know it's fucking Snapchat. Stop playing dumb just to play dumb.
I get really annoyed when I do. I have people in my life that I will fucking yell at when they do that. They're like, oh, well, I don't know what that is, blah, blah. I'm like, well, take a fucking second to know what it is so we don't have to do this shit again next time it comes up, you fucking asshole. God damn. That really drives me crazy.
I agree.
So he keeps calling it Cincewatsky, and it's like, dude, if you took a fucking second, if you step outside the fucking bowling ball for a second, man, you'd hear about Cincinnati. Everyone's talking about it now. This girl's here. She won't shut the fuck up about Cincinnati. Just listen for a second. You'll know what it's called.
I will say, as much as we shit on Barnaby for his bad evil ways, the best evil thing that he did in this movie was just called Georgie a big fat lump.
Yeah, I did notice that.
I loved it. Or a great fat lump.
Yes.
Great fat lump.
So when they escape...
Very mean.
When they escape after saving Georgie last, because of course, Georgie has been the most helpful person and the nicest person to these people the whole time, and they're like, well, priority, gotta save the hot people
save
first.
Everybody, yes.
Yeah.
And a big FU was Jack helping and carrying the two girls across the little crevice when they did that rope swing thing.
Yep.
And then he just throws the rope to Barnaby, or to Georgie. And he's like, you're on your own, buddy.
Well,
and
they learn with Georgie that he is not a physically gifted person.
No doubt at all.
He does not know how to climb a ladder. There is a real struggle. It's like a bunk bed ladder. They just have to go up a couple rungs, and he can't do it.
Right, and they go back to back. He couldn't rope swing across like a 3-foot crevice.
And could have just hopped.
And then he could not climb up 3 rungs of a ladder.
Yes, very, very difficult for Georgie. So they make their escape, and I don't even know how it happens. The next part of this chase ends up being a go-kart race, and they're just riding around in circles.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not trying to get away. They're just like doing a fucking race. I think that Jack's like, I'll fucking show you, Barnaby. I'll win.
Car chase, driving in circles.
Yeah.
We really had that same note, and I wrote down that they're all driving flower cars, even the villains.
Right. So here's how they get away. They just stop driving in circles, and then Barnaby and his 2 fucking idiots keep driving in circles, like for a million more circles.
Right.
And every time they meet, because they're going in opposite directions, every time they see each other, Barnaby's like, "Oh no, it's you guys again." I'm like, fucking do something else.
Like your fucking flower car has a brake.
Yeah.
They stopped 30 minutes ago.
Have you not noticed the other cars aren't fucking there anymore? Or no, the cars are right there. The people aren't in them anymore. So fucking stupid, Barnaby. So they get out, and then it all culminates in this fucking go-kart race then they kind of tied up really quickly. Like, just, all right, now let's have Jack and Mary get married. And, I should also say that Lisa has been tricking Mary's mom into thinking that Barnaby wants her.
Yes.
And she's down.
And also
Which would have been a way easier fucking thing to get the mortgage paid.
Exactly. And everybody would have been happy.
Yeah.
Also, Lisa orchestrates a war between the toy soldiers and the little goblin things.
Oh, those
of
fucking
Barnaby's army. And it's just like the worst war ever. Nobody dies. They just they shoot at them.
Sounds like the best war ever, Pete.
That seems like the worst war ever. I want some bloodshed.
Nothing's accomplished.
Right? They shoot cannons and shit. They shoot guns, and nobody dies.
Again, good thing that there is no fucking police in this place. People are trying to kill.
There are bear police.
Oh, that's right. But they don't
bear
do
police,
anything.
and they are the least effective bear police in the history of bear police.
There's a guard. There's a bear guard, and Lisa and who none of these people have fucking seen before. This fucking strange girl walks up and she's like, "Yo, let me get in," and he's like,
There's a lot of hold me back, bro.
Yes.
Where it's like I'm trying to get at you, but hey, bear policeman, just hold me back a little bit so I don't have to get in this physical altercation. Also, a lot of bad, useless musical numbers in this movie.
Yes, although
they're not a lot. There are minimal musical numbers, but they're all bad and all very unnecessary.
There's one little thing that they recycle a couple times, a theme, a motif, if you will. It's a very nice melody. They play it in the toy store as a Christmas song, and then they play it at the wedding as a wedding song. The one that's like... Da 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 that anyone ever had. You know that one?
Nope.
It's very nice.
The only musical number that I recognize from this movie is Monster Piece.
Monster Piece?
Yes, where Barnaby is talking about his monster piece.
Oh, yeah. How could I fucking forget that?
I thought that one was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Barnaby had pipes.
Monster Piece sounds like a Lady Gaga album.
Right. And that's like a Lady Gaga album I would prefer to Joanne.
Absolutely.
Like, I want more Monster Piece
exactly.
and less Joanne. So she wakes up. It's all fucking over.
Wait, no. Let's not. We got a little bit left to go. The toy master just decides that Lisa grew up too fast, and that's why all of this is happening.
Oh, right, yeah. He was like, this is to teach you a lesson.
Out of nowhere.
She was a fucking good kid the whole time.
Right.
At the beginning of the movie,
there's no indication in Toyland that Lisa was like an adult.
Right.
She was the stupidest person in the world. She didn't ask any questions about being in this fucking weird-ass
Psycho
place.
Land, yeah. But in real life, she was nothing but a responsible young lady. And they were like, look, you got to start acting up. Make out in public.
No. They said that she just needs to enjoy her childhood more. She's growing up too fast.
But she seemed to be enjoying. Did she seem like an unhappy kid?
No, not at all.
She was excited to.
Why
be
the toy master thing came out of nowhere? Because at no point in the movie was where I was like, this girl is wildly unhappy because she can't be a child.
Well, speaking of things that came out of nowhere, so she gets off Toyland by flying away in Santa's sled because the toy master is Santa Claus.
Right. And just out of nowhere.
That's not how... I hate when fucking Christmas movies just fucking rewrite history. Santa lives in the fucking North Pole. If the toy master was Santa Claus, then he would have been in the fucking North Pole. He would not have been in this fucking bullshit Toyland place with a fucking bowling ball and
also,
two fucking
the first
gremlins.
time that I've ever seen Santa portrayed as an Asian person.
I was going to say, that's the one kind of check mark I'll give the movie. Very, very light on minorities, but man, they made that one minority count.
They weren't afraid to be progressive.
Yes.
And just make Santa Asian.
Yes, they were not nice to the mentally challenged or to black people, because black people did not exist in
Or
Toyland.
fat people.
Or fat people, because they did have a fat person, so they could make fun of fat people.
Right.
But Asian people came out great in this movie.
Also, what's the timeline in this movie? Because they say, for some reason at the beginning of the movie...
where's she sleeping?
Right, exactly. At the beginning of the movie, they say, Barnaby says, hey, in 1 week,
Right, next
you're
Wednesday,
all fucked. I don't know why he just picked 1 week.
Yeah.
He was like, I need a week.
Yeah.
I need a week to make sure this all happens.
I'm trying to take advantage of the dumbest things that have ever existed. All I need to do is throw out cookies in order to do it. I'm going to need a week.
He says, I'm going to need a week, and then in a week, you're all going to be really unhappy. And then, also in Toyland, it doesn't get dark at all, which seems like a fucking nightmare.
That I would go
Why would anybody want to
crazy.
live in a place that does not get dark at all? Like, I love the daylight, love summer, how
People
it
would
gets...
be killing each other within like 3 days if it never got dark.
Right. They never show Lisa sleeping. They never show, like, where she sleeps, who's letting her sleep in their place.
Yeah.
The fucking shoe has 1 million kids in it already.
I'm also worried about where fucking Mary's sleeping. Because she's not safe with her mom.
Right.
She's certainly not safe with her fiance. Hopefully Jack...
Where does Jack live?
I don't know.
Everybody in Toyland is homeless, apparently, because they don't show any houses except for the bowling ball
I like
and the
to
shoe.
think that just at one point during the day, you can't even say at the end of the day because the day doesn't fucking end there. The sun just is always right there. All the bears sit down on benches, and then the people just kind of snuggle up with them and have something to kind of hold on to.
Could do worse.
It's like a big body pillow.
Could do worse.
I think I could sleep on a bench with a body pillow.
Where do you think this movie was shot? I know.
My guess is, well, this is the obvious guess. They're like, hey, Cincinnati, we'd love to, can we shoot this movie in your fucking place? You got nothing going on. They're like, under one condition.
You talk about Cincinnati
It's all about
relentlessly.
Cincinnati.
It is very far away from Cincinnati. I don't know why I just added that
Italian
accent,
Pete.
but
Just,
you're right. Very, very far
British
away.
Pete. Where?
Munich, Germany.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
That is the only place where they have a very large surplus of bear costumes and black frogs.
And just that fucking big-ass bowling ball.
Right.
Like, you know, like this must have been a kind of pricey movie to make. I mean, there was no cool CGI shit or whatever. The cookie destruction came with a table and a door. That's it. They didn't really... I guess maybe you had to spend... I bet they spend a lot of money on feathers. Because all of Barney's little things were just normal things with a lot of feathers on them.
Barnaby's costume wardrobe was legit.
Barnaby was like an actual fucking pigeon. Right? He looked like if you took a fucking pigeon and just stretched it as much as you fucking could, and like there's feathers and blood everywhere.
My overall takeaway from this movie is that it is a pedophile's Wizard of Oz.
I saw that text. You said that to me as you were watching, and I LOL'd because I hadn't watched it yet for this week, and I was like, yeah, that actually sounds about right.
There are so many parallels with the Wizard of Oz, like between just like the dream world with friends and people that she knew in real life, that were just translated to the creepiest ways possible. And it is really a pedophile's Wizard of Oz.
It kind of sucks that for it being a scenario in which a lot of people in her life were there. She's like probably like a 13-year-old girl.
I would say younger than that.
Oh, okay,
maybe
something like that. But like
10.
Okay, so like
8?
you're hoping. I was gonna say like maybe you want your crush to be there, and the love story isn't about your fucking hot ass older sister and her guy, but like about like the cute boy at school or whatever.
Right. It's like she's in a fantasy world and none of it is about her.
It's somebody else's story.
She's solving other people's problems.
Yeah.
Or having to deal with other people's problems.
And
that
making
sucks.
them worse because those other people are having their problems solved by a fucking 11-year-old idiot.
Right. The Wizard of Oz parallels are like fucking crazy. Even Barnaby, like looking into that Cyclops eye thing. That's the witch in the Wizard of Oz has that crystal ball where she can like see shit.
Yeah.
And like those little monkey things that work as their
those
servants,
guys...
and they're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
The little troll things.
Yeah.
So then she wakes up and If I woke up out of that shit and then I woke up and I saw fucking all the same people in my house on Christmas Eve. This was Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah.
I would just...
It's seriously the only thing about Christmas in this movie.
It really is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's in
a
Munich,
nightmare movie.
They film in Munich, Germany in the middle of summer. So
Yeah.
there's no snow or anything. She wakes up, she sees fucking Jack, Georgie, Mary, and her mother all around her. And they're all fucking in her house after she just woke up from that terrible fucking dream. And they're putting together a Christmas tree on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Why is this a common theme in every
movies
Christmas
that,
movie?
like, it's Christmas Eve and they're, oh shit, Christmas is about to happen. Let's put Christmas together. What the fuck, man? I've been hype on this shit for like 3 months.
It's like, why in every Christmas movie they're just like, shit, we need to put together this tree. It's Christmas Eve.
And then
they did that in Bad Moms Christmas too.
And then they have the fucking gall to say to their kids, like, well, Christmas time is the time for, like, you fucking didn't even know about Christmas until, like, why the fuck am I going to believe what you have to say about Christmas?
You left me alone to fall out of the back of a knockoff Jeep on Christmas Eve, and you have the gall to tell me that Christmas is a special time. Ugh. Fuck you, Mom.
Yeah, and also, in that fucking death dream I had, you are fucking crazy.
And you just wanted to fuck the evil guy.
You wanted to fuck the evil guy, but only after he fucked your daughter to pay for your fucking, unable to support yourself. Fucking, oh, you suck, Mom.
You haven't seen...
and if you haven't said that to your mom at some point before, then you haven't lived.
You haven't seen Brigsby Bear, have you?
No.
That movie is about, not to spoil it, but it's about a kid that was kidnapped when he was a baby, and they basically, his kidnappers who pose as his parents hide him in like the secret bunker, and they allow him to watch this show called Brigsby Bear, but it's like a show that they produce so that he doesn't have any exposure to the outside world.
What the fuck?
They produce it themselves, and it's like this creepy-ass 1980s bear and like his bear friends and like this alternate universe. This movie, Toyland, is basically what Brigsby Bear was, the TV show.
Is Brigsby Bear supposed to be is it like a creepy movie? Is it like a thriller?
Not a creepy movie. It's a
Is it like the Truman Show?
Sort of. It's like
Blast from the Past? You ever see Blast from the Past?
No.
That's Brendan Fraser lives in a bunker underground, and then he gets up out of the bunker, and Alicia Silverstone takes to him. Not bad
for him. Yeah, seriously.
Right.
No, it's
All things considered.
It's not like a funny or like a thriller or anything. It's kind of just like this sad story about a kid who. It's not even a kid. It's Kyle Mooney. So he's mid-20s, and it's Kyle Mooney's movie.
Okay, that sounds. This sounds exactly like something Kyle Mooney would do.
And he's just like a guy in like his late 20s who is having like his first exposure to the world when his entire life has been consumed by this Brigsby Bear show that does not exist.
That's fucking. I hate that I'm gonna check that out.
It's actually good.
Right. I mean, I like Kyle Mooney. So yeah, that was what would you think of that Babes in Toyland discussion? Do you think the people who haven't watched it will now watch it?
I would say yes.
I think that I would if I hadn't seen it and then I heard this. If there were like a group hang on Friday or something, I'd be like, yo, let's put this on in the background.
If I hadn't seen it and I heard this, I would have tuned out about 20 minutes into the discussion.
I was thinking about that. Like, sometimes we'll just talk about shit that people can't fucking know what we're talking about.
Right.
I love that they just...
Some people say that they enjoy that, though,
right.
even though they haven't seen the movie.
Because they're like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm also positive they don't know what they're talking about.
I will say this movie was not good at all. Not good. But it is in the... It is an elite movie. It is in a very elite class where it's so bad that it's good.
It's like must watch.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so bad that like you can sit around with a bunch of friends, watch it, and you'll have a fucking great time and just laughing at how bad it is.
One of the most fun times I've had the last few years was my friend told me about this movie called Camp Cucamonga, and it was a similar kind of thing. It was a made-for-TV movie. It was about a bunch of kids that go to camp. And it's just so fucking stupid. But the cast is like Jaleel White, Breckin Meyer, I want to say like Jennifer Aniston's in it. It's just like a bunch of people as kids, and you're like, what the fuck is this stupid bullshit? And there's like way more rapping than there should be, and it's awful. But it was just such a fucking great time watching that, being like, oh my god,
that is the
so bad.
most elite class of movie, because it is way harder to make a movie that is so bad
that's
that it's
bad,
good.
But people want to watch it.
Right, that is so bad that it's redeemable and enjoyable just based off of how bad it is than it is to make an actually good movie.
Yes.
So I would give this grade, like if I had to grade this movie, I would probably give it like a 5 or a 6.
Like out of 10?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I saw on IMDb, whatever that rating is. It said it was like 5.7.
Really?
I was like, yeah, okay.
That's wild.
Yeah. We have not been good at updating the playlist of late.
Nope.
And the issue is
almost to the point where I'm like, should we even keep doing the playlist?
So that's what stinks, like, because I've liked doing the playlist. My only issue has been
updating.
I don't like updating the playlist.
Right, me neither.
And I really don't, and I just don't get around to it. So now it's like we've missed a few weeks of it. So it's like, what do we do? We just not acknowledge those, and then do we get back to adding?
We've only missed like 1 week. Then we've missed a couple weeks.
Like 1 week's worth of them. We've missed like 7 of them.
Okay, we missed last week, so I'll go back. I'll put together the list of last week's.
Nice.
And then we'll do this week.
Cool. All right. So let's add some for this week. While I was, I changed my list as we were giving that review because you said that the movie took place in the middle of summer, and that made me want to add this song. I went on, and I probably will be for a little Panic! The Disco kick.
Ooh.
Because Panic! At the Disco obviously has been an ever-changing project. It now consists of, or for a while now, it's just consisted of Brendan Urie. But like, I didn't like their first. I didn't like what was their first album? The one that had "I Write Sins Not Tragedies."
No, I don't know.
You know that song?
Yeah, I know that song.
So like that came out, and people were like, "Panic! At the Disco." I was like, I don't care for that. And then their second album came out, and people wouldn't fucking stop talking about it. And it was, and not like critics or whatever, but like my friends were like, this is so good. And I listened to it. The album's called Pretty Odd. I think I've talked about it on here before. It is like one of the fucking best albums ever. It is so fucking good, top to bottom. And I didn't realize until this week when I went on a Panic! The Disco kick that their guitarist and bass player wrote the album and then quit afterwards. And then after those guys quit, like they put the exclamation point back in the name or whatever. So seemingly,
It's a different band, kind of.
No, well, so they started off as Panic, right,
Yeah.
at the Disco, and their second album was Panic! The Disco, and it was this unbelievable album. And then these two guys who had written that album quit. So my guess would be that like Brendan Urie didn't want to be doing the type of shit that they were doing, which was the
good
fucking
shit.
good shit, awesome shit. And so I've kept up with. And since then, like everybody else has quit.
I mean, I would quit the band too if I made like an unbelievable album and nobody noticed.
And someone was like, and someone in the like, fuck, like,
well, that too. Like somebody in the band was like, "Nah, this shit sucks.
Right.
I'm gonna do the old shit."
Like,
also the fact like that I made a great album and then nobody recognized it. I might as well just fucking quit this band. Never gonna make a good album that anybody notices.
Well, like if one of us came up with like a fucking $1 million idea that was like the most. Like, the best fucking thing that we could fucking do for this podcast or whatever, and we did it, and it was like, huh? And then the other one was like, yeah, man, we really need to get back to talking about John Hamm's dick, though. And you could see how they'd be like, oh, okay, like, fuck off forever. Oh, that would never happen, because none of us will ever think of a better idea than talking about John Hamm's dick. So I'm adding a song from that album. It's called Pretty Odd. You'd said... In the Middle of Summer, that is part of the chorus and the verse even, of the song When the Day Met the Night. It's not my favorite song on the album, but it's like one of the top 5. But that album, Jeff finally listened to it a few months ago and like texted me about it because he'd seen that I'd tweeted that like it's one of the best albums ever, and he was like, fuck. This is one of the best albums ever.
I'm gonna have to do it.
It's so fucking good. It's hilarious. So yeah, I'm adding When the Day Met the Night by... Panic! The Disco. I'm adding...
Your handwriting sucks so bad.
That's not my handwriting. That's my jotting writing. That was just if if I was having trouble getting from one topic to the next, I wrote down Xmas tree, retail, babes, songs, reviews. You haven't even gotten to retail yet. So anyway,
Jesus Christ.
Panic the Disco, When the Day Met the Night. I didn't add this last week. I meant to, but something else came up. I'm adding hashtag #1 Happy Holiday by Drum. That song is fucking amazing. And Easy plays a lot of Joey Dosick. And Joey Dosick is fucking awesome. And Netflix just does that sometimes. They play cool people that no one's ever fucking heard of, but you're like, hey, I think that person's cool. So Joey Dosick is this great fucking singer-songwriter guy, but he plays and he sounds like Marvin Gaye, and he plays a lot of instruments, and a lot of times he plays with Wolfpack, and he's just terrific. So I'm adding the song "Running Away" by Joey Dosick. It's an easy.
Okay. I am going to add "Greatest Love Song" by Lanko. Do you know that song?
No, you're thinking of "Best Love Song" by T-Pain and Chris
No,
Brown.
that's already on the playlist.
Probably.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. "Greatest Love Song." It's a pretty basic like white girl country song. But it's a jam.
Okay.
Then I think I've already added this song. "I Love You So Bad." ILYSB.
Yes, you
by
have.
LANY.
Yes.
I'm going to replace that with the stripped version.
Ooh.
Because I just found that on Apple Music, and I like it way better than than like the studio regular, like, because they're a electronic band. They kind of sound like St. Lucia a little bit, that vibe. But the stripped version, it sounds like there's like the big feature of the stripped version. It sounds like they're just banging two cute like pool balls together, like billiard balls.
Yeah,
it has that like weird, and it's very like identifiable. Where like if you smack two fucking pool balls together, you know that sound.
Right.
I'm pretty sure
Kinda
that's exactly what they did for this stripped version, and it's really really good. And also, I'm going to add Van Morrison just released a new album.
Really?
And it's very jazzy, and I like it. And a lot of it is just like instrumental jazz shit, which is awesome.
Nice.
And so I'm going to add A Foggy Day.
Cool.
Which is a song from that. Van Morrison, I've done this on the podcast before, but Van Morrison is a god to me.
Rest in peace, John Mayer. He had to go to the hospital this week.
Yes, he had an emergency appendectomy.
Because he corrected someone's style, and then
their headline
corrected,
style, writing wise,
yes, and
not their fashion.
Then immediately got corrected by one me, and he liked my tweet and then apologized.
Wait, did he apologize to you?
Yes. No, he apologized. No, he sent out a tweet after saying,
really?
Like, yeah.
I didn't see that.
So I didn't see it either. I just saw, like, I got out of spin class and I had an alert because when do you get alerts from people that you follow?
Like for when they like or favorite something?
Yeah. So those are the only alerts I get. And on my phone it was like, John Mayer liked your tweet, and I was like, dope. That can't be a real thing. And then I was like, I tweeted at John Mayer yesterday. I bet that's... So I looked, and so I tweeted like, so fucking lame when people get all excited when someone likes their tweet. Like, you don't see me talking about how John Mayer just liked my tweet. And someone responded, they were like, kind of surprised that this is as far as you went. Thought you'd be taking credit for the apology. And I looked, and like right after he liked my tweet, he sent out an apology and was like, look, guys, I didn't know that blah, blah. I'm wrong. Sorry.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
You faced John Mayer, and then his appendix just exploded because of it.
Yeah.
His appendix just exploded, and he went to the hospital. So you almost killed John Mayer.
Yes.
If he died from like his appendix explosion, I would have been forced to kill you.
If his last social media thing that we always talk about,
like last tweet, you imagine
his last tweet was like a DJ Bean fucking thing.
Oh man, that would have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I would have been very upset, but I also would have been... you
would have been like, I fucking know a trivia question.
My new Twitter bio is one half of the podcast that killed John Mayer.
Right. Yes. That would have been fucking unbelievable. So, glad that he's alive. Fucking love that guy. I honestly, I need his social media in my life as much as I need his music. So
almost more so the social media now.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest fucking John Mayer fan.
He may have made his
world.
best music. His best social media could very well still be ahead of him.
Right, yeah. He like honestly could be a talk show host.
Oh, yeah.
And like, because I know that he filled in for Fallon
Craig
or
Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right. He could honestly be like one of those people, and which would be awesome because then he could just play in the band.
Yeah, that'd be fucking amazing. I had a fun retail experience this week. I went to get bike shorts because I'm a winner and a spinner. And I was like, well, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes a lot of spinning can be hard on the lower body.
Testicles.
And the upper lower body, if you know what I'm saying.
The penis?
I'm saying like the lower body would be like your ankles. The upper lower body is like that area.
Yeah, okay, yes.
So
the balls.
Yes, like just like the whole balls,
the
ass,
rash,
and everything in between, you know?
The grundle.
So the whole
whole
shebang.
picture.
So it can, and like, not to the point where, because a lot of guys are like, I don't spin because like, doesn't it hurt? I'm like, well, what does fucking hurt mean, you fucking puss? Be a man. Gender up, bro. So I have friends who spin and they just wear bike shorts and they're padded. So I was like, cool, I'll just go to get those. So I'd looked up how much they were and like, I don't know, like $20 to $50 or whatever.
Not bad.
So I could have gotten some on Amazon Prime and I was like, you know what? I'll go and I'll feel out the goods or whatever. So there's a bike shop near my work. So I was like, cool, I'm going to support a local business. I go and get the shorts. Go to there was no price tag on them, or I didn't see the price tag. Maybe I'd even look at the price tag. Who fucking cares?
Baller shit.
Yeah, you know. So I go to pay, and the guy's like ringing me up and everything. And, he's like, all right, we'll be paying with this, blah blah, and like we're pretty far along the process. And he's like, okay, $150. It's like, and I was so far in the process that I was like, what the fuck? Because I look like a fucking chump if I'm like, I'm not paying fucking $150 for underwear, dude. Get the fuck out of here. So,
did you buy them?
I bought.
No, you bought them.
I bought the $150 bike shorts, and then walked out, and I got in my car. And I didn't start the car because I was just speechless. I was like, how did those fucking cost $150? I looked up how much these things cost for this exact reason, because on some crazy chance that bike shorts are $150, I would decide to not get bike shorts and just let my fucking lower body die. I don't want kids anyway.
Right.
So
you're not using that shit anyway.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm using it. I just don't want kids. So I'm like, dear fucking God, $150.
Did you go back in?
So I went back in and I was like, I'm sorry, just do it. No.
All right, I'm proud of you for going back in, because that's a real like I can be a little bitch and just eat the $150.
Right.
Or I can be like a normal fucking reasonable human and say I'm not paying $150 for these goddamn padded underwear.
So I walked in and I was like, so I had no idea these were $150. He was like, oh yeah, you got the best kind. So he took me over to the thing. I was like, I've not bought bike shorts before, like noob. And he was like, yeah. So like they were all on the same rack, but he was like, these are the crazy good ones. That's the kind you bought. These are the really good ones. Those are $100. And then these are the fucking bad ones. They're $50. And I was give me the bad.
This guy was probably looking at you and being like, this guy does not need the $150 bike shorts, but I'm not going to turn down his money.
Well, I don't know. Like, who does need the fucking $150 bike shorts?
Lance Armstrong.
Right. But, like, is Lance Armstrong going into that fucking store?
Probably not.
No one should be buying those fucking bike shorts. So, I got the $50 ones. I used them.
They should send fucking, like, balloons and streamers down from the ceiling after they sell those.
Right. Like, that, imagine if they take commission.
Right.
That guy
probably would have murdered you if you came back in saying, oh, I'm sorry, man. I don't need these.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have cost him his nut. Right. So I got the $50 ones, and when I sat down to spin class later, I was like, I got in the saddle, and I was like, ooh, this feels fucking amazing. It feels great. It feels like a fucking pillow. But then I didn't realize when you get up or when you walk around, it looks and feels like you have a poop in your pants.
Oh,
yeah,
nice, man.
Because like you just like around your ass region, there's just like this big fucking thick thing that's not normally there.
Like your penis.
Right.
You don't have a thick
So
penis.
I texted my friend who wears them, and I was like, hey, wore bike shorts for the first time tonight. Is it supposed to look and feel like you got poop in your pants? And he responded like, most def! Exclamation point. So that's the story of me buying bike shorts.